And I want to talk about the mentality of Donald Trump as a reflection of a broader issue. So I was recently looking at this is, as you know, I'm an old Zen monk, and there are two aspects of human consciousness which I've been aware of for many years, and they're called the guardians of the world, and or specifically of morality. And one of them is called fear of shame, and the other one is dread of blame. So fear of shame, and basically what I did was I went into AI and asked for some clarification about some of this stuff, which I pretty much understand it anyway, but I'll explain it. Um, Fear of shame is the idea that we actually have a sense of what is right and wrong. And if we do something that's wrong, we'll feel bad about ourselves. So that's shame. And as I was checking online, I saw that this is, in terms of a secular point of view from Kant, from the philosopher Kant's point of view, he'd call this self-respect. So if you respect yourself, you don't do things that are going to be that go against your own values, so to speak. And the other one is dread of blame, and that means that you don't want to get in trouble with the people whom you associated with, or anybody. So it's basically what we're talking about is accountability. So accountability can be it can be anything from ostracizing. So if you're in a community and they don't like what you're doing, then you won't have any friends, so to speak. But on the other hand, if you do something that's bad and it's criminal, then there could be serious consequences. But there are some people who simply disregard all of that. So let's take a look at President Trump. So recently I saw the latest. He's quite entertaining, obviously. And he recently made a statement where he was talking about Iran is going to have to pay United States reparations for all the harm that it's caused. And he goes back, 40 years of terrible things that Iran has done, overlooking the fact that we overthrew their democratically elected government and installed a dictator who killed thousands of people. And finally, he was replaced by a popular uprising. And the popular uprising was not to our liking because, the democracy wasn't good enough for us, so we now have a democracy, although it's based on religion. Of course, it's the Islamic Republic. And that in itself is inexcusable. So one of the aspects of Donald Trump's attitude, you look at self-respect. Does he have any self-respect that he can just violate laws all over the place and do terrible things to people and support genocide and debase himself at Netanyahu and whoever pays him? Where's his self-respect? He doesn't have any. And then in terms of accountability, well, he does hold himself accountable to the people who pay him. But in terms of moral standing, he really doesn't care. So he's basically a very, what we would call, incorrigible. There's no reforming this person. So, but then I thought, well, how does that stack up in terms of other belief systems? So it turns out that the core issue here is ego. And I was looking at the Christian idea of this problem, and they call it pride. And the Islamic idea of it is it's something also. What do they call it? Hold on just a second. Let me look it up again. It is well, in Christianity it's arrogance. Rather, in Christianity they call it superbia or pride, and in Islam it's called arrogance. This is the insatiable need to be higher than the other, to dominate and to have your ego validated. It creates a hierarchy of worth. I am superior, therefore you are expendable. Whereas in Buddhism, the idea is called conceit, which is where you're comparing yourself to others. I am better than you, or I am worse than you, or I am equal to you. But these are all forms of conceit, because it centers the universe around your own status relative to others. And the win-lose dynamic is inherent in all this kind of comparative thinking. So, so even though there's two rather different belief systems, you have the Judeo-Christian and Islamic belief system, which talks about the antidote for this being humility. In Buddhism, they talk about the fact that if you actually examine the personality in detail, you find that it's just a bunch of passing mental states, and that there isn't any real lasting things such as a personality or a person. And that makes life quite different from people who think that there is an ego. But then it gets into the question of, well, if there's no ego, then what do you do if somebody attacks you? And should you be angry at them? Well, the idea is that you don't get angry at the person, because anger is also, that just perpetuates the problem. The idea is that you want to solve the problem, stop the person from attacking you. And it may involve, violence, in fact. But the violence is not done with the idea of, it's kind of like, in surgery, you've got some offending event going on and you've got a tumor or something like that. You cut out the tumor. You don't get angry at it. You just cut it out. So that's kind of the Buddhist attitude towards these things. Whereas other belief systems may look at things more from a justice point of view. I'm right, you're wrong, that sort of thing. So I thought I would just, make this little experimental video and see, how it turns out. That's it for now.